here we are. This is S.x Love Psychedelics, and I'm your host, Dr. Kat. Bringing you psychosexual conversations that will leave you intellectually turned on and hungry for more.
And for people who've gone through trauma, I know that connection can be one of the hardest things to really grasp and understand. I also went through significant trauma as young and as a young adult. And it was like, I remember sitting in a group of friends who were like my close community and we were all in a cuddle puddle. And I was like, I don't feel connected. Like, why don't I feel connection here? And maybe we can start with that. We're in a world where, we use these words, connection, but connection is such a complex word and process that we don't realize. We just use it and we're like, let's connect. But what does that fucking mean for somebody who's gone through trauma?
Totally. It's a whole
how do they get there?
Different. Exactly. It's a whole different experience. It's like connection is an embodied practice as a trauma survivor. It's also learning your edges, right? There's like some edging in there, learning like, okay, maybe like I can go into this cuddle puddle to this point, or like I can be there for 5 minutes and then I need to go leave and resource, that titration piece that we don't always get taught as trauma survivors. And I believe so much of our agency is taken from us when we've had trauma, right? And so there's this part where we don't even trust ourselves and our inner knowing. So when our body is giving those alarms of like, I don't feel connected here, I don't feel seen, we sometimes can go through that mental process of like, am I just having a trauma response? Am I like, like robbing myself of joy? Am I not, resourcing properly? When really it could just be as little as like, I've hit a growth edge and I just need like a couple minutes to resource and maybe I go back to it, And I think that those are practices like as trauma survivors, we don't get those normalized like as micro practices of like that it's okay to have these tools in your toolkit. Nothing's wrong with you. You're just regulating your nervous system,
Yeah, it's okay. It is okay. Which, if you've gone through trauma, things are dangerous. We're picking up these cues of danger in our environment. So there is, I love how you said that. Yeah, we lose our sense of agency. Agency is the power that we have for ourselves to make a choice. But if we're hypervigilant of the environment, or if we're looking to other people for the answer because we don't trust our own, it's like we're perpetuating that loss of agency.
Totally. That loss of self. And there was a like meme going around Instagram for a while that was like the true flex or something was like, is a calm nervous system. And I saw a very like trauma informed, I'm blanking on her name, Dr. Jenny King, I want to say. She's with the Trauma Institute, I think out in Ohio, but she corrected it and wrote, it's actually a flexible nervous system, a nervous system, right? Exactly. All the trauma informed people are like, yes, but it's
Flex.
true. Like it's like, you have to like understand that sometimes your body is going to be like, I need to pull back, and that's okay. You don't have to second guess yourself or go into this, what I call like trauma shame, where it's like, oh, I'm being hypervigilant. I'm taking myself out of the experience. I'm not dropping in. I should, right? It's sometimes just meeting that moment and saying something in me is saying, I need to pull back. I'm going to pull back, resource, and then check back in. And that's that flexibility, right? That superpower, truly. But as trauma survivors, again, like we lose that part of ourselves that we trust, especially when we've had trauma at such a young age, like myself and you. So yay, we're in that club together.
Yeah. The formative years when the nervous system is designed, it's programmed in this, like, there's more danger in the environment than there is safety. So we need to be on in order to survive.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like I don't know if this is the same for you, but I've noticed like when I actually don't have the hypervigilance on and I'm in the flow, something will catch me and I'll be like, wait, what? Am I okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like I gotta, learning, like relearning, like what it feels like also to feel peace in my nervous system. Right? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly that.
Well, that was fun. Thanks for tuning in, lovers. And if you want to experience more ecstasy and sexual liberation, head over to sxlovepsychedelics.com and learn about how you can join me for any one of my online or live events. And while you're there, grab my free guide on sex and psychedelics. Remember, this podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please contact your healthcare provider and local law before pursuing any of the products or psychedelics discussed. And one final note here. I make this show specifically for you. If you're loving the show, then be sure to leave me a review in iTunes or Spotify to let me know. Happy to be here and happy to serve. I'll see you next time on S.x Love Psychedelics.